What's up YouTube, I'm just another guy and welcome back to Gibraltar United. So we're at the end of season update, we're at the 25th of June. The draw has already been and gone because we have been bumped up. We no longer start in the first qualifying phase, we start in the second qualifying phase yet again. First time in a while, I can't remember the last time we were at this stage and we started. So as a result, I don't get to see the draw and I don't know when the draw was officially made. But what it does is it tells me who I've got in the next round of the competition. So, you know, we're going to my inbox and we'll talk about that now. So, we have been drawn against FC Spartak Trnava, maybe Trnava, I'm not too sure there. I believe FC Spartak, I guess I'll call them, even though that's completely not their name. But it's going to be a really tough game. Slovakian, sorry, Slovenian. Slovakian there. They've got a few real players in their team. One who is from their country, one who's French, who's a striker, looks to be half decent. I haven't got a report on them yet, and one as well who is also from their country, who is a relative youngster. So, you know, it's going to be a tough game there. They've got the reputation. They've got, you know, to be a good, decent side. Last year they did exactly what we did. Actually, no, last year actually. Is this last year? I can't. No, it might not even be last year. No, it is. So last year they were a Europa League team. They managed to get to the same stage we did in the Europa League, which is the playoffs. But of course, we took a relatively or a different route. Obviously, we took it through the Champions League. But from what I'm seeing, they beat a team from Bosnia, they beat a team from Finland, and they beat a team from Poland as well. So they beat some tough teams to get there narrowly. All of them were narrow, apart from the 3-0 victory in their first round on the first leg in the Europa League. So, you know, I'm not too sure. Based on their history, they look like they're a team that do relatively well in the competition. I wonder when was the last time they played a real difficult team at the stage of the competition. You could argue maybe that's the Europa League. Actually, that's not even Champions League. So by the looks of actually, they're more a Europa League team. They have been in the Champions League at this stage in the past, but you know, they're not regularly there. So to me, that tells me that we may be facing up against one of the best teams in Slovakia, but definitely not the best team in Slovakia. In fact, on this team, the best team. Yeah, look at that. Look at their reputation compared to the one we're playing. So it's not been an easy draw. It's not been, you know, as good as HJK, but we're going to have to perform really well to get past them. But hopefully we can. We looked pretty good last year. Hopefully, if we can get a few new signings, I'm still looking out for a few ones. We've got a few coming in. We've got a few players leaving as well. So we'll go through that in a second. But if we can find ourselves one good striker, because that's what I really want to do, and also replace the players that have left the side, I think we can be a decent team and put up a good fight for them, up against them. And also, look, we're actually favourites. We are favourites in the away tie for some reason, but not favourite. Oh no, we're favourites in the home tie, sorry, and they're favourites in their home ties for our away tie. So apparently, you know, it's going to be slimmest of margins to define the games and, you know, define who's going to win the match and who's going to overall win the tie. So you're going to have to perform very well. So let's go into the league and we'll have a talk about that first. So league table wise, we dominated. We won every single game. We won 14 out of 14. We were all over every other team in this league. We're going to stages and we'll click on it like that. So yeah, 14 wins out of 14, 63 goals scored, which I actually don't know, is that the highest tally? I don't think it is. Team goals, it's actually 82 from Lincoln, not when the game's actually started, so it might be our highest ever tally, I'm not too sure. We did concede 7 as well, but overall it was just, we were unstoppable. No one presented that threat to us. Lincoln did it in that first game of the domestic season, beating us in the Pepe Reyes Cup on penalties, but apart from that, no other team troubled us, and in fact we have some incredible results coming up in the fixtures in a second. But I'm going to run through some player stuffs first. So, due to the fact I've continued a little bit too far forward, we can't see player stats on my player screen. So we'll go over it on this page, and one of the first things that stands out to you, or should stand out to you, is sort of the average ratings. Everyone doing really well. Pete Moody got 8.52, Miller and Alvaro got 8.41, 8.31 respectively, and Ojeda got over an 8 as well. So, you know, doing really well there. People getting recognised for their incredible talent and, you know, their incredible performances. Elsewhere, Miller got 23 goals this season in the league alone. He had an incredible year and showed real great goal-scoring prowess. Hopefully, you know, now he's got one full season under his belt, and I actually see him as the main striker. And in fact, Sanchez is leaving at the end of the season, so Miller will be our only striker next season. We will be obviously looking to try and bring one in, but you know, he showed me this year that he can do it, and in fact, he beat a record set by Castro by scoring more goals in one season than any other player has before. So Miller looks like a real good talent for this level. Hopefully, like I say, he can reflect that into the Champions League, because last year it was Sanchez playing up front by himself and he missed a few chances. Maybe if that was Miller, maybe if I'd have taken the gamble on Miller, I would have seen a few different outcome in certain positions. But we'll have to see, going into next year. Moody as well got 8 goals. He did actually play makeshift striker for maybe 4 or 5 games. I don't know if they were in the league, but he definitely played striker for a few games because Sanchez was out injured for a little bit. So that's why I think he scored so many goals. Assist-wise, as you can see, obviously someone's going to be providing all them goals our players are scoring. Alvaro, Sanchez, Ojeda, and Moody were all providers there. Midfielders, the wingers, and the other striker, the target man. As a target man, he's got to be laying off. He's got to be trying to set up Miller, and that's what he did throughout the season. And I think where Miller would score maybe a hat trick or 2 goals, more likely than not, Sanchez would get 1 of them assists minimum. So yeah, really good year for him. Goalkeeping wise, Smith kept the most clean sheets, only by 4. We had a few people keeping quite a good amount of clean sheets this year. We didn't actually keep as many clean sheets as I probably would have wanted, which is quite strange seeing it's only 5 games we conceded. But if you look at it done like that, and we conceded 7 goals, you'll see that we conceded more than a goal a game, and really we possess enough quality to go the whole season without conceding a goal. So maybe that's something we can be looking to push on with for the next few years. Trying to get a 100% season with no goals going in against us. 14 clean sheets for our goalkeeper. So there were no awards again handed out. I don't know why. I think it's just a little bit something wrong with the database. One thing I will talk about is our attendance. Our attendance, I believe, is growing it again. We'll actually do it on a different page, because it's easier to see it. If I go on this records, and I go on attendance. So average attendance this year was 3,766 in all competitions. I'm pretty sure that was boosted up by the fact we got 2 10,000-seater max out crowds in the Europa League, in the Champions League. But it's growing. That's really good. Lowest attendance was in the Champions League first qualifying phase, actually. So it shows that we attract more players actually into our league games than most of the time we get in the Champions League first qualifying phase. Look at that, even TNS a few years ago was a really low attendance. So fan base is good. Highest gate receipts, you already know that. It was Dynamo, you saw it when it happened. £193,000 from that game. What an incredible amount of money to pick up. And highest attendance, you already know that. We broke that with 10,000. So there were a few records broken this season. There you go, that was it. Steve Miller scored the most league goals in a season. So being recognised there, which was really good. He's an absolute beast. I don't think there's anything else here I particularly need to talk about, because we're going to do most of it elsewhere. We'll go on to finances now, then we're going to the fixtures and stuff. So finances wise, we are near $1 million in terms of our balance. Throughout the season, we improved one thing, and that was our junior coaching. Our youth intake was very poor. I think only one player actually had the potential to have 1 star, 1 gold star. The rest of them were all just pretty crap. So that's not good. We're still not exactly producing great youth, but I don't really have the money right now. If I want to get good amount of money, we need to be getting to the playoffs. The playoffs, you get like 1 point something million for winning, I think, and 1 point something million for losing, or say something ridiculous like that. And of course, if you win the playoff game in the Champions League, you get into the group stages. That gives you loads of money from getting to the group stages from TV revenue. So I aim this year's Champions League playoff, because that way we get a group stage football no matter what, and that would be ideal for us. A quick progression after we were halted so much, but it will mean we have to overcome quite a tough team in the Europa League second qualifying phase. So let's go into our schedule. So we've got 2 friendlies before our big Champions League game. Man 62 today actually, and Panathinaikos, who again asked to arrange a friendly for us, which I was happy with, because they come in, we get good receipts for us, and plus the fact that it's before the Champions League game means I can actually use it as a way to gain fitness for my players. So that's really good. But let's go into last year's fixture. So how did we do? I'm going to point out a few amazing results for me. Well, one of them straight away was Miller scoring a hat-trick on his first ever league game, as well as Moody getting a hat-trick the game after. Miller helped us score a hat-trick as we won 5-0 against Lincoln in a really good victory in the first time we'd played them since the Pepe Reyes defeat. We skipped forward a bit after, a few smashings here and there. We beat Lions 7-0 in the Senior League Cup first game, with Moody getting 4 goals in the process. We beat Cannons 8-0, with Miller getting a hat-trick in the process. Almari almost getting a hat-trick in the process as well. Continuing on in the Senior League Cup as we jump over Leo FC, we beat Lynx 8-0 with Sanchez getting 6 goals and earning me the achievement of double hat-trick. He was just in a world of his own. He really was. And you know, no one could touch him. Really good performance. 8-0, our highest ever victory at that point in this in this competition. As you see, we won 8-0 twice this season. Following that, Man 62 beat them 3-0. Good result. Then we had Lincoln Gibraltar 3 times in a row. First time it was in the Senior League Cup final where we won 3-1 in front of a capacity stadium. Really good to see you know, the fans packing in to watch that. Beat them 4-1 then in the Premier Division, and we also beat them 4-0 in the Rock Cup quarter final. Following that, we played Angels in the Premier Division and we won 12-0, the highest ever victory recorded by in this division by our team. We were just again in a world of our own. Miller with a hat-trick, Sanchez getting 5 goals, narrowly missing out on his 6, scoring in injury time, and Matthew Kirby as well getting 2, as well as 2 own goals, contributing to the scoring. It was just a complete obliteration of Angels, who were just, you know, they couldn't cope with the quality that we possess. Basically, that's what happened. And then end of the season, you know, we just continued to win our games. Almost actually lost the last game of the season. Lions put up a very good fight. As you see, we took the lead with Sanchez after the first minute, but they got 2 back, and meant going in at half-time, we were actually 2-1 down. I think for the first time all season since the Europa League, we were losing, or since the European games, we were losing at half-time. So that was a different situation for the team to be in, you know, for going whole season without being behind at half-time pretty much, to then being behind it. You know, it was time to see a reaction, and I got that. Sanchez scored very quickly after the second half, and then again only 5 minutes later put us back on top. So that managed to get us through with a 100% record. I would have been gutted if I'd have drawn or lost that game. And then the last game of the season against College Europa, who are a team not even in the Premier Division, so they did really well to even get to the Rock Cup final. We beat them 7-0 due to the fact we were playing a slightly smaller team. Only 4,640 people turned up, and also Sanchez getting 4 goals in what will be his last ever game for the club. Miller also getting 2 goals in the process there as well. So, you know, it's been a really good domestic year. Shame there couldn't be a few more greens up here, especially in this position and in that position. But, you know, what are you going to do? What's happened, and we'll just have to move on. So, I spoke about people who will be leaving the side, and I'm still sort of switching people out because I haven't still made a few changes. But as you can see, we've got a lot of people leaving. One of them is Ruddy Bondo, who's a right back. We've got a new right back coming in, but you know, you'll see that in a second. But Ibondo will be leaving the team. Great, you know, great for the team while he was here, but I think we're bringing in someone better. Elsewhere, Ojeda is leaving the side. He already knows where he's going to. I tried to offer him a deal very recently, but there was a breakdown. He wanted too much wage. Then the Austrian team, I think this is the same Austrian team who took Castro off us, wasn't it? No, it wasn't. But an Austrian team in the Bundesliga, actually, the top division in Austria, they came in and said they wanted Ojeda, and so they brought him in, and we tried to then competing with him yet again to try and tie him down to a new deal. But at that point, they were offering him, I think they were offering him like £2,000 a week, and I can't offer that. I can't offer 2k a week for a centre mid. So on his way he went. So Ojeda's leaving the team. Elsewhere, Pete Moody is leaving the team. I tried arranging this guy a deal for a long time, but we just couldn't agree on something. He wanted a very large wage. I could only offer him about 1.8. He wanted to match highest earner. I couldn't confirm that because I don't like match highest earner clause, even though he is currently the only guy anywhere near that sort of wage. If we go back, actually, you know, everyone else's wage is below £1,000 apart from Sanchez and Moody, and Sanchez I already knew was leaving. So, you know, you could have said I could have put that deal in, but the thing is, I don't know what's going to be happening over the next few years. It is a shame to lose Moody because he's such a great talent, but I'm sure he's not irreplaceable. That is for sure. He is not irreplaceable. We can find someone who can come in and do a job like he has done for the past 2 years. That is for sure. He'll be going off to Bournemouth, who who came in very basically on the 1st of January, bang, English clubs interested in him. And once the English clubs became interested in him, I'd lost the battle already because I can't compete with the wages they're willing to offer. So, you know, once the English clubs came in, he wouldn't even talk to me anymore. That was it, end of. Antonio Jesus, I don't know, Sanchez, he'll be leaving the side. We signed him for 50k a few years back. And did we get our return from him? Probably not. You know, probably not. We probably overspent on him there. £50,000 I mean, he's got some good stats on him, but as you saw in the in the Europa Leagues and the Champions League games, and as you don't really see in the league games because I don't do them, but he does miss a lot of chances, and I don't really know why. He's got decent composure, decent finishing, fairly decent concentration as well. Overall, to me, it says that he shouldn't be missing the chances he does, but he misses them, and for that reason, I'm afraid Sanchez is going to be leaving the team. We are looking at new strikers. Hopefully we'll get a new one in, as I've said, and a better quality than Sanchez, maybe better, a really good striker. If we could get a next level striker for us, that could be the thing that actually takes us to the next level. Because that may be the only thing we need. Who knows? But yeah, going into next season, we will be looking for a centre mid, a left mid, and a striker. We have about 17 days once everyone is released from their contracts, because we can't afford to really bring anyone in until people are released. So once that all happens, once that all goes through, we'll be looking to try and bring in them 3 positions, and then yet again maybe look to try and loan people in and try and add some squad depth for the Champions League. Also leaving the team actually is Montgomery. He's leaving at the end of the season. He's been moaning for a while that he's not getting enough first team football, so he'll be leaving the side. A really great servant to the club, having been a free transfer from Lincoln all them years ago, but he's on his way out now. There's no denying that. Elsewhere, transfer history, we'll go into that quickly. There were a few bits of action to happen last year that I didn't exactly go over when I last left you anyway. One of the key things to happen was that we released Terry Brown on a free transfer. He moaned, he wanted out, and I obliged. I said, look, mutual termination, off you go. And, he was playing first team football, but he wasn't happy with the amount he was getting. So, bye-bye Terry Brown. If he'd have stayed here the full season, he actually would have got a few more games, because we needed a centre mid here and there, every few games or so. So, either way, I think Terry Brown's going to retire because no club's interested in him, which is, again, quite annoying because the standard of the national team is actually on a decline due to the fact all the players I don't use anymore have just faded. They've gone. They're retired. Dean Baldwin from last year, who was released, retired, I believe. Where is he? There's Max Brown, Brian Smith. Where's Dean Baldwin? When was he released? Oh, he was released this year, wasn't he? No, Dean Baldwin's still going, but actually no, he retired. See, Dean Baldwin retired. The players who are really good for Gibraltar national team are all the players I don't no longer need, and as a result, like I say, they just retire, they just fade, and it's affecting the national team. I don't think they've won in about 6 years now. But in another way, that's not my problem. That's not my main focus right now. So, about the 2 people leaving. Let's talk about the people bringing in. So, we bring 2 people in. The first guy is Fran Benitez. A right back here is going to be our new right back. As you see, not really got much for him going forward. But, he's young. I think he's on a lower wage. I can't exactly remember the wage that we were offering him. But I think he's on a lower wage than Ibondo. Has got some half-decent history, playing in the Adelante for the past few years, every now and again. But overall, I think this is going to be a good signing. 22 years of age, maybe in the future could play for the national team depending how well he progresses and stuff. Still has development period left in him. He's 22, 24 is when the typical fast pace or the rapid development period stops. So, we can still try and grow him into something we wanted to. And we also signed James Wilkinson from Lincoln. Now, he wanted out of Lincoln, and he was probably the only good, or one of the only players currently in Gibraltar with a good enough ability, or good enough potential ability, to maybe challenge someone in the first team. So he'll be coming in this year. He'll probably be on the bench for the Champions Leagues and Europa League games. Hasn't done too bad for Lincoln in these 2 or 1.5 years he's been there. So, you know what? I think he could be a half-decent signing with a bit of potential. So, I've done that. I've done the transfers. Let's talk about how the league has grown. So, the league has continued to grow after our good performance in Europe. It has taken a few jumps up in terms of reputation. We are now ranked 95, I believe, in terms of reputation. Put it on position-wise. Yep, 95th. As you can see, just a little bit off of actually becoming a 1.5-star reputed league. Now, is this the top division of Norway? No, it is not. That's the 2nd division. But where's the next top division? There's the Vanarama Conference anyway. I don't know what the Moldovan top division is. But either way, we're almost there now. Almost improving the reputation once again to the next level, which is really good to see. I already spoke about how, if I go on qualification places, I already spoke about how we have now entering at the 2nd qualifying phase. So that's where we are, 46th ranked. It would be nice to again progress through from the 2nd qualifying phase to the 3rd qualifying phase, and hopefully climb up this list a little bit more, which is ideally what we want to be doing. What else could we do? In terms of coefficient points, we have not really grown too much, I don't think. We are 260 something, I believe. 265th, which means we have 6 coefficient points, which means we are an unseeded team, which is why we got a relatively tough draw. But there are a few decent teams above us. Minsk are not a bad team. A few Scottish teams there in a row. Limfield are there. A few Turkish teams are directly above us. And maybe a little bit ahead are people like FH, who are quite a good team from Iceland. Lillestrøm, Viking, I believe it is, isn't it? I was going to say Viking Girl, but I don't know why. Radders and things like that. You know, there are some tough, good teams ahead of us. I still don't know exactly what we'll need, like exact number, to make ourselves a seeded team. But you know, I think HJK are seeded, didn't they? So maybe another good year in Europe and we could become a seeded team. It'll depend on obviously how other teams do in their European competitions, but that could be maybe something we can aim for the next year or two, becoming a seeded team, which will make things a lot easier. So yeah, I think that's it for the league itself. We'll go through the people who have entered Europe this year and what their draw has been as well for them. But for right now, we're going to the under-21s and we'll have a look at how the struggle has been. We ourselves have not won a game since 2023, since this stage last season, actually. Have we got 3 friendlies coming up? I don't think I do. No, I don't until the start of the season. That's good. But yeah, we haven't won a game since Lithuania in on the 8th of June 2023. We lost all our qualifying games, including an embarrassing 12-0 defeat to Italy in November, which was tragic. We also narrowly lost to Andorra 5-4. I actually changed up the tactic to the 5-4-1 I played in Europe earlier on at this stage, and as you can see, we didn't actually play too badly. In fact, I feel we should have won the game because I think we had 4 click opportunities or 5 click opportunities and 1 half chance, and we took most of them. You know, Andorra on the other hand had 1 half chance and 1 click opportunity, but we were so poor defensively, we allowed them to just take a few long shots here and there, and as a result, a few of them crept in, especially at the end of the game, where it was just manic. We couldn't stop them scoring, and as a result, we missed out on winning a game in 2024 right now. And I don't know if we're going to get one this year because I haven't arranged any friendlies, and you know what? It sort of distracts me in the under-21s. I'd rather just focus on Gibraltar a little bit, which is quite weird. And I spoke about the national team, and I spoke about how it's struggling. The quality is on a massive and rapid decline. I spoke about how they're struggling. Look at that. Look at their results. Montgomery, the only guy to score for them in 2023. The last time they actually got a result was in 2022, 2 years ago. And like I said, they've not won since 2018. So it's been a very long time. And you know, the only way we're going to change that is if I personally start focusing on the youth. But to do that, I need more financial backing so we can improve the quality of the youth. And the only way we're going to improve the quality of the youth is by progressing in the Champions League. The only way we're going to do that is by bringing in foreigners that are good enough to do that. So it's going to be a while before they can improve. But you know, that is our aim in the end, to try and improve Gibraltar's national team. But yeah, let's go through the teams in this league and talk about how they did in Europe last year, because I realised I didn't actually do that. They got 2 testimonial cannons. They didn't play. I mean, Leo, sorry, they're not in it. Lincoln, they have a Slovenian team, so not Slovakian but Slovenian. That'll be a tough game for them. How did they do last year in the Europa League? They actually won a game. They beat HB 2-0. And it actually went all the way down to a penalty shootout. I didn't know this actually. Went all the way down to a penalty shootout, and they lost 4-2 with missing penalties from Jack Peachman, who's no longer there anymore. He's off at Hound Dogs. They also had Martin, who scored earlier on in the game, missing a penalty, which would have been, of course, gut-wrenching for them because he actually scored in the 89th minute as well, keeping them in the game. And our ex-player, Brian Smith, who we sold for £5,000, scoring their only penalty. So that is really heartbreaking, actually, to see a team like Lincoln, who put in such great performance, narrowly missing out on earning a next round appearance, you know, which would help improve this league. Again, they would get more money, Lincoln, which they could invest into the youth, because they actually have better youth facilities than us, which is why they have which is why they currently produce better youth players than us. They have better facilities and everything. And also, you know, would have helped us as a nation improve the potential of getting higher up in the qualification places rankings. So, you know, currently we're just, above the teams who would just have 1 team entering the Champions League at the first qualifying phase. If Lincoln had done a little bit better, if they'd have progressed through to the next round, we could have maybe gone up a little bit higher in terms of that ranking. Next, Lions, I don't think they're in it. Lynx are in it. They have a team from Greece. Cyprus, sorry, wrong one. that'll be really tough for them, Lynx. They won in it last year. Man 62, they have got a team from Iceland. No, not Iceland, sorry, Sweden. Wrong one. That'll be a really tough game for them. Last year they lost 5-0, so not exactly a brilliant performance. And who was in it as well last year? Wasn't Angels, was it Olympique? I think it might have been them. No, it wasn't. Who was it? We've been to everyone apart from Lions, I believe. Yeah, Lions were in it as well. They had Domzali, who were actually, again, this is the team that actually Lincoln have, isn't it? And they lost 8-0 in aggregate, so let's see what Lincoln can do. Hopefully get a little bit of revenge for the Gibraltar teams, but by the looks of it, they're currently given no chance in doing that. No chance in hell. So, I think I've covered all I needed to. It's been quite in-depth, hopefully. Next time I will meet you back will be the Champions League games, of course, where hopefully we'll be aiming to get that playoffs, get the Champions League playoffs, and get group stage football this season. It's going to be hard, but that's what we've got to do. So until then, guys, peace out.